I'm doing well. We're gonna get, let's see, we're gonna get the aquarium to co-host here. And Scott, if you have anyone from your team that you want brought up as a speaker, have them request, and I can pull them up. We're at the top of the hour,
Okay.
but I want to give it another minute for people to trickle in, and we'll get the show
No
on the road.
problem. Jasmine's here. Hey, Jazz, will you request to speak?
And I know that I think one of you wanted to pin tweets to the space. Was it Jasmine or was it you, Scott? I think it was Jasmine.
That was Jane, actually.
Oh, Jane. Okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
No
get.
problem.
So pinning
Yeah,
tweets.
I see Jasmine just requested to speak.
Okay, cool. So we got Jasmine, and then we got Jane. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add you as a speaker, Scott, and I'm gonna have Jane co-host.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, yeah. So she can pin stuff as we're speaking. So let's get Scott up here as a speaker, and then let's get Jane as a co-host. Just like that. And Scott, you need to expect. You need to accept the speaker request, and Jane, you need to accept the co-host request to get you guys up here. Hi, Jasmine. I think Jane needs to request one more time. I want to make sure that she has the ability to pin tweets. Nice. Jane Kim, co-host. Beautiful. All right. Good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. My name is Noah. I'm here today with VRYNT. And before we get started, Scott, Jane, Jasmine, I don't know who wants the mic first, but give us a quick background of yourselves. Tell us your origin story and how you ended up working in the crypto industry today.
Yeah, I'll start. My name's Scott Brown, and I'm the CEO of VRYNT. I've been in the media and entertainment industry for quite some time globally at super big companies and whatnot. I also, the way I got into crypto, though, was outside of just investing and being interested in blockchain and decentralization and whatnot, I was also the CEO of a crypto company out of London called Veracity for a couple of years. Huge success, 600x token and whatnot. So that was fun. I call that my crypto MBA. But then decided I had to stay, and I had to keep crypto just keeps bringing me back. So that's how I started VRYNT basically. Obviously, and focused on NFTs and smart contracts and how to bring real world implementations to solve real problems in the world.
So
and
Scott,
I'm not sure if Jasmine's actually connected, but I don't know if maybe we can just test to see if she can talk real quick, because
of course, Jasmine.
Oh. Hey everyone, what's going on?
Welcome, Jasmine.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, cool. I'm in a cabin in San Luis Obispo right now, so I was a little worried about my connection.
Oh wait, Scott, you said you can't hear her?
I cannot hear her.
That's odd. I can hear her. Acting, can you hear Jasmine?
Yeah, I can hear Jasmine just fine. I can hear everybody.
I can hear Jasmine too. Scott, how about you leave the space and then rejoin?
I will.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's a good idea. And while Scott does that, Jane, do you want to give a quick high-level background of yourself?
I'm helping Scott with VRYNT, so it's just, I'm not actually part of the VRYNT team, but, I'm just helping out here, and I actually work for Luna PR. We're a PR agency.
Okay, cool. And what about you, Jasmine?
And then I'm a singer-artist / social media personnel. I used to do YouTube a long time ago, and then I started singing and just on stage, and so that's kind of how I got into the entertainment world. And then recently I just been wanting to dip my toes into the Web3 community and get introduced to all these NFTs and get educated on it, and it's been a lot of fun. And like you're about to find out, VRYNT makes it really easy for people who are trying to get into this community, so I'm really excited about that.
Beautiful. So Scott, are you able to hear Jasmine now?
I sure am.
Okay, fantastic. So
Thanks.
Scott, let's jump right
Yay,
into it. But
Scott, we
before we
missed
do,
you.
I am curious. Scott, I am curious to know because we have some Veracity fans here.
Nice.
Why did you part ways with Veracity?
Well, I had a bunch of different opportunities going on at the time. I had another company I was running called Hashkai that placed Fortune 500 executives on the boards of companies. So I kind of got them through the ICO phase and launched, and then I just had some other opportunities that I wanted to chase. But man, it was really, I was so passionate about that project. It was really cool. It started out as YouTube on the blockchain, and then they've moved over to esports. So, but yeah, so that's basically why I left.
That's cool, man. They're still going strong. I'm still a believer.
They are.
So let's jump in, Scott. Give us a high-level overview of VRYNT. Tell us what we should know, and then we can jump individually into the nuts and bolts of things.
Yeah, it's super cool. So just very quickly before I get going, I just wanted to let everybody know about this promo that we're launching. Obviously, today is Jasmine's collection's launch day. It's called All That Jazz. It is super cool. It's like it'll be the first NFT collection where the fans actually get to build the NFTs. So it's so addicting. You guys are going to have so much fun with it. But we're doing a whitelist promo. So there's 100 whitelist spots for people on this call. So if you are the first of the first 100 people to retweet this space and to DM VRYNT your wallet, we'll use that wallet address to whitelist you for Jasmine's collection. That kicks off. The whitelist kicks off at 5 p.m. and the public sale kicks off at 9 p.m. So anyway, I just wanted you guys to have the chance to do all that stuff while I'm talking. Cool. So
Beautiful.
So what VRYNT is? So basically, it's a community-based fan engagement platform that's obviously built on NFTs. So the first thing, obviously, it's an NFT marketplace. It's a NFT launch pad. Easy way for you to frame it up. But again, what we're trying to do here is something a little bit different. Everybody in today's world is just infinitely distracted. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's so much media and entertainment to steal your time away. And the problem for any influencer, celebrity, musician, or brand is they are all struggling they need to capture as much of your attention as possible between their thing. Whether if it's TikTok, it's your TikTok dances. If it's music, it's your your song drops or your tour or whatever. And if it's Nike, it's between your shoe releases. Soccer teams, it's between your soccer games. So what we're trying to do is create a platform that allows influencers, celebrities, and brands to leverage Web3 technology to actually engage their fans. So what we're trying to do is basically create a game out of it. You need to create an experience and a full experience in order to keep your fans engaged. Between that time. So the way we do that is by allowing the fans to actually create the NFTs. So if you can imagine, we kind of create this little sandbox between the influencer and the fans. So the influencer can add their creativity in, but also protect their brand. And the fans can come in and lean their creativity in at the same time. So the way that works is that, we create these components that we bundle up into packs for the fans to purchase. And then the fans get to structure and arrange those components in order to build their NFT. So, it really, you kind of tap into the meme culture there and a little bit of play to earn, because they get to, the fans actually get to lean in their creativity and interact with the artist in a way that they have never done before. So, we chose to use NFTs for that because they're, really exceptionally well suited to be both a credential. Like if, Jasmine wants to use it to give access to something like a meet and greet or whatnot, but it's also a reprogrammable store of benefit. So we can reprogram the value of that over and over and over in order to, continue to give new benefits to these assets, basically. And that becomes very important when you think of it as a fan engagement platform, because, you want to engage your fans often. So you need a credential that you can assign those benefits to and do that over and over again. And NFTs are just great for that. So what we're really after here is, we're trying to satisfy this need in the space where, the next generations of fans and communities, they want to be more than just consumers. They want validation. They want to share their creativeness, and then they want to be rewarded for their participation in the brand or in the influencer success. They don't just want to be a consumer anymore. They want to be a part of. So that's what the platform's built to do.
So Scott, give us an example, right? I mean, conceptually, it makes sense. The fans are able to create or be at least in charge or collaborate on the creation of these NFTs, which provide unique utilities from the artists to the fans. But what is a real example, or a tangible, or rather, real example of this actually being used in your ecosystem?
Yeah, so Jasmine, I'm going to steal a little bit of your your thunder here, but just as an example, you build the fans build these NFTs, and once the NFTs are created, Jasmine could come online and say, "Hey guys, if you happen to build your NFT this week with my my diamond studded bling cup, then you get a meet and greet with me." Or, "Hey, listen, if you happen to have the most rare NFT, you get to come down to the Volumetric Capture Studio in Orlando and get to watch me make my next video," or something like that. So it's these types of benefits that she can reassign or assign over time to these NFTs that give them kind of like infinite utility, basically, or at least reprogrammable utility.
And how many artists do you currently have utilizing this?
Jasmine's actually our first external artist that we're launching today. We already have the Origins collection out there. That was the first collection that we built just to exercise the platform. So it's out there now. The utilities that are assigned to that collection are, if you own an Origins NFT, well, then you get 10% off the platform, and you also get whitelist opportunities for participating collections.
And I see that almost 900 out of the total 1,000 Genesis packs have been minted. What's the minting cost?
The way VRYNT works is we decentralize the business model. So in Origin's case and in Jasmine's case, the price per pack increments every time a component pack is purchased. So that is a variable price, obviously. So just as an example, with Jasmine's packs, Jasmine's start at $12, I think, and then they go up to somewhere around $100 at the end of the mint, or if all of the component packs were to sell out. I think Origins is more expensive than that. I think it starts at $12 and then ends up at $1,000 or something like that over time. But yeah, so the artist or the influencer gets to decide. They program all that in. So it can be. Some artists obviously want it to be very inexpensive and accessible, but you can imagine that some people want it to be very, very expensive. Like if it was, the Prince of Dubai or something, he may want to start his at $100,000 and end at $1 million or something. So we needed to create a structure where the collection owner could be in charge of those economics.
And Jasmine, did you want to jump in and talk about the All That Jazz collection that you have? I mean, it looks like there's 4 hours and 45 minutes left, whitelist access. Do you want to give us some insight into all that?
It's coming.
Yes. Can you guys still hear me?
We can.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I'm really excited. It launches tonight at 9, but yes, whitelist starts earlier, so that's really exciting. And I'm really excited to get a closer connection, like Scott said, and to, get to know my fans a little bit more, and just even people who aren't fans yet, and recruit them over. Come on, send me everyone. And it's cool because I get to see their creativity and just see people like step outside of the box and like create their favorite, this is how we've been saying it, but their favorite version of me, because this collection, we worked on it together, and it has very personal components that we just spent a lot of time working on so that it was me and represented me as a person. I have, different stuff in there like avocados. I eat avocado toast all the time, like simple stuff. One of the components is my hydro flask that I literally have with me every single day. Just things that are super personal, which I think is really different. And I'm just really excited to see if people like it and gravitate to it. And if it's user friendly for them too. So I'm hopeful, I'm excited. This is my first launch ever, so I'm excited that it's with VRYNT, because like I said before, they do make it very easy to get into like the NFT and Web3 community space. So I'm really excited about my collection launch today.
So you gave us some insight into all that jazz, and you kind of explained why you used VRYNT, chose VRYNT to launch your NFTs. Do you want to give us some more insight into the component packs?
Sure, I can maybe do a little bit of that. So the way the component packs work is that when you buy a component pack, they are bundled up into 12 components per pack for Jasmine's collection. And each pack that you buy, it actually can build a full NFT. So if you buy a pack, you can build an NFT. But the cool part about it is all of the components inside are obviously different rarities. So Jasmine has different body types, different poses basically that you can get. Those have different rarity. There's different hairstyles that have different rarity. So there's some cool jackets, like there's a really cool puffer jacket that is super, much more rare than the others. So you can kind of take what you get. But you may want to go after the most rare stuff. And if you wanted to kind of go after the rare items, you can see, well, I can either decide to go buy another component pack and take my chances that I'm going to get a rare thing. But you can also look on there and see who owns those rare items or who has opened them and hasn't minted with them yet. So you can make them offers, or they can list them on the marketplace, and you can trade for those really rare items as well. So it's a really cool system. It allows you to again really get involved and play games with it and search for the stuff you like, or you can just mint it right away. And since the component packs are going up in price as they sell, you can imagine a lot of people buy them and hold on to them and wait for somebody else, or wait for them to sell out because somebody's going to want an unopened pack that they got cheaper or something like that. So yeah, it'll be a cool, fun experience, I think.
So this is akin to buying a Pokemon booster pack, for example, right? The rarity of the cards are completely random. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter how much you pay for it. It just really depends on luck of the draw.
That's right, and obviously the earlier you get in, the cheaper it is. But it's not like the card packs get more rare as they get more expensive. Everything is 100% random inside, and it's exactly that.
So I always like this idea of celebrities or artists utilizing NFTs to give their fans special access to them or their content. And it's cool to be seeing this implemented by you all. Jasmine, give us some more insight into, or Scott, give us some more insight into the VIP exclusive access, right? What exactly do your fans get from purchasing these NFTs and hopefully getting one of the rarer cards?
Okay, so Scott, you can help me out if I say anything incorrectly, but I'm the first 100 people to purchase a component pack will get personalized video from me, which is really cool. And then all 5,000 members of the All That Jazz community will get free tickets to a private concert that will be like online. It's like an acoustic performance by me. And then we were saying once a week, I'm going to be choosing my favorite All That Jazz design, or, what people designed of the week. And I'll be surprising them, and I'm posting like what they designed on my TikTok, my personal TikTok. So giving a shout out once a week, picking my favorite design, which I'm really excited to do that because, like I said, I get to see everyone be creative and make me look goofy or exciting. And then All That Jazz members will also be whitelisted on VRYNT to get early access to select collections from myself as well as other artists that they may be working with. And we do have another group actually signed to my same label that will be releasing something soon, right, Scott? I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that.
That's right. Not yet. That's secret. But
so these
cool.
are all secret.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other one that you missed was the those were the ones that you have defined, and then obviously there's other exclusive experiences like private listening parties and sneak peeks of her new videos and all sorts of stuff that she'll be assigning during the life of the collection, basically.
Okay, got it. And last question on that note, Jasmine, and maybe Scott can shed some insight into this, but Jasmine, how many of your fans, or what percentage of your fan base do you think is familiar with creating their own decentralized wallet, connecting to a decentralized app, minting NFTs? I think that this is always good for adoption, right? It gets people involved in this industry that otherwise would not. But sometimes it can be a barrier to entry that some might not want to go through. So have you guys created any kind of tutorials or educational content to make the learning process a bit easier for your fans?
So Jazz, why don't you let me grab this one? I think, well, so first of all, Jazz is being like super modest. So she's got, 7.2 million TikTok followers or whatever. So she's got a huge audience on TikTok. So it's kind of a neat platform for her to be getting shout outs on and stuff like that, because people get a lot of exposure there. So I think that's a pretty cool benefit. But yeah, the interesting thing about this is, the way we look at it is all of these influencers, celebrities, and brands, most of their audience, I think, is not crypto savvy. In other words, we needed to sit down and think about how are we going to design the platform to on-ramp kind of the 99.5% of the rest of the world into crypto. And again, I had a lot of experience of this at Veracity, and so I kind of knew what we were getting into when we were trying to figure out, how do we go and get the rest of the world on ramped. So we spent a ton of time here, and basically the way you should think about it is first, Jasmine or other influencers or brands go out and they basically go to their audience and say, hey, listen, come play this game with me. Come get involved, and let's create this cool environment. And then when the users come on, we've made it super, super, super simple for them. We basically don't even want them thinking about crypto or NFTs, or you don't even have to say any of that when you think about VRYNT. You can come on, if you have MetaMask, you can log on with MetaMask. That's great. If you don't, you can just log on with your normal Google single sign-on or your Discord single sign-on on your Facebook or Twitter. And so we've made a Web 2 login mechanism so that you can get in, so that people that aren't crypto savvy can easily get in. When they do that, we also create them a non-custodial wallet at the same time through Taurus. So basically, we're just create a super seamless environment so they don't have to think about all the other stuff that they used to think about in order to create a wallet. So it's seamless. You just log in with Google, it logs you in, creates your wallet immediately. And then you don't really need to think about it from then on, because the rest of the UI that we've designed is kind of all built into the website. Now, when you mint your NFTs, they are on a non-custodial wallet. So they are in your wallet that you control and we do not control. But while you're on the platform and playing around, you can pay with credit cards. You don't have to think. You can also pay with crypto, but you don't have to if you don't want. So we kind of tried to, at every step of the interaction, keep it so that if you know about crypto, you know what you're doing. And if you don't know about crypto, you don't even have to think about it, essentially.
I like that Web 2, Web 3 hybrid approach. I think it's a nice medium to get people involved and give them some training wheels in case they have a hard time with some of the early, some of the more complicated Web 3 functions. Scott, I wanted to take it back to VRYNT and talk about some more of your unique selling points. I understand that this is a way for artists to uniquely interface with their fans, especially with the kind of infrastructure that you guys have built. around the collections and the price increase over time and kind of how fans can be involved in the minting or rather the designing of the NFTs. But if you and I were in an elevator, a long elevator, what would be your what would be your selling points, right? What's your kind of long elevator pitch?
That's cool. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to think about it, actually. The first thing that's kind of very unique about VRYNT is obviously that, we allow the fans, it's a community-based system. So we allow the fans to create along with the influencer, but the whole system is designed to also engage the community financially as well. So we create an ecosystem that, it's not just the purchaser, the fans buying something. They also get to participate in the economic success of the collection as well. So it's very, very important from a creativity perspective where we're kind of touching the meme culture and the passion economy. I'm so sorry, the meme culture and the play to earn side of people. But we also make sure that that money is getting moved back out to the community so that they, can also participate in the passion economy, which is a little like the gig economy, but it's which is, you have a side hustle where you're making money to your real job. But in this case, with the passion economy, you're also making money doing something that you love or that you're addicted to doing. So that's the first kind of two pieces that are unique. The other one is obviously we're creating that safe sandbox for brands. So a lot of times when brands the reason today why brands don't interact with their communities like this a lot is because they're trying to protect their brand. They don't want people to go and mess with their brand. So what we're doing is allowing them to inject these elements in a way that they can put their logo in, but they know all the components that are going to be along with it. So they can allow the community to come in and do their inject their creativity, but also retain some brand control with their brand. So that was another big thing that we had to tackle. And then kind of the final things are really being built for mass market. There's a lot that goes into the crypto space is really the Wild West right now. And it's, there's not a lot of regulation and it obviously is cross border. So it's all murky right now. But when you go to a big brand, a top tier brand and ask them to come play, they get really nervous. So there's a lot that's built in there for like AML or anti-money laundering and CFT compliance, counter financial terrorism and stuff like that. So we've built a lot of infrastructure in the system to make big brands safe to come on and play in the space, basically. And then I guess the final thing I would say is, again, this may not be as interesting to everybody here on this call, but from a business perspective, what we're really doing here is allowing, all of these brands spend millions and billions of dollars on fan engagement today. And those are just marketing expenses. They just are direct expenses going out the door. But what we're doing for these businesses and for the influencers is flipping that around and allowing them to take their promotional energy, but put it towards a direct revenue stream first. And I haven't seen anything like that in my career. It's just explosive to me. So I think this is going to be a really cool thing where, big business can get involved and redirect those marketing expenses, but the community will also participate in the financial success of all that. So I think that's just it's a really cool thing, man. I think it's going to be very viral once it gets started.
It certainly sounds like you've built an infrastructure that's inviting a lot of new artists, and it's unique. It's different than anything I've seen in the market. What are some upcoming collections, Scott, that you guys are very excited about? I mean, obviously Jasmine's is the Kickstarter, right? The first one, but it does look like you have others in the pipeline. I'd love to hear some more about what you guys have in store for the fans.
Yeah, so Jasmine's is today, so that's going to be that. It's been long awaited, so we're really, really excited about that. You guys are going to have to show up again. It's whitelist start at 5, and the Public sale starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Then next we have something called the CSFL, or the Cyborg Sports Football League. So this is really cool. It's a decentralized kind of fantasy sports collection where you actually get to build your cyborg. So imagine you're building your football player essentially. There's obviously a lot of components and a lot of parts, like, the different legs and different arms and different thigh pads and helmets and teams and status and whatnot. So it's fun to build them, but the CSFL is also creating Discord games, like you can imagine a field goal kicking game in Discord, where it reads your NFT's qualities basically and applies them to whether or not you made the field goal or not and stuff like that. So that's going to be a really fun one. And then, as Jasmine mentioned, other artists from her label, we've got them scheduled. We also have other celebrities scheduled, and then some very, very big brands from Asia will be coming on in the beginning of the year next year. So yeah, there's a lot. So you're going to want to watch this space. A lot of new cool stuff coming.
What does it cost for an artist to come join your platform and launch an NFT line?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Normally, the only cost associated with getting it launched is the creation of the assets. So in Jasmine's case, obviously, she had some expenses to pay the artist to actually build her components. But in the CSFL's case, the founder of that actually is an animator. So he did all of the artwork himself. But that's really the only cost. It's just creating the assets, basically.
Scott, how is VRYNT based around the passion economy or the gig economy? And before you answer that question, for audience members that don't know, would you define gig economy and passion economy, please?
Yeah, absolutely. And I brought that up a little bit earlier. I apologize to repeat it. The gig economy is all about side hustles, basically. And I guess the biggest example of that probably, or the first big one, was Uber. That was kind of known as the first big successful gig economy platform. But that's really, hey, I've got a job, but I need to make some extra cash. So the gig economy is about how can I go and stack 4 or 5 gigs on the side to kind of pull in some extra money. And the passion economy is just an evolution of that trend, except for it's doing things that you love doing anyway. So it's kind of like you're, getting to participate in, it's almost like Discord mods or something like that, because look, I'm going to be in the crypto space anyway. I'm going to go ahead and mod this particular Discord channel, and I'm getting paid for doing something I love, but I'm also got another job over here doing, something else as well. So, that this our platform basically engages that, because again, it kind of facilitates this community economic model.
Makes sense. I wanted to ask about the uniqueness. I mean, you've definitely highlighted some components, but the uniqueness of your marketplace when comparing to maybe an OpenSea of the of the space, right? What are your value prop is clear, but what are some plans or strategies that you guys are using to capture some of those creators, capture some of that market share and that user base?
Yeah, so if you think of OpenSea, it's really a marketplace. So it's almost like OpenSea is more, akin to like in Web 2 world, an eBay or something like that. And then if you look at Magic Eden, for example, kind of their hook on Solana was adding a launch pad to the marketplace, and they kind of knocked it out of the park there. But the way VRYNT is a little bit different is we're kind of those are infrastructure components only, and what we're trying to do is add. Number one, obviously we've got the builder aspects where the fans can actually go in and build NFTs. So that's an extra piece that's on it. But we're really trying to kind of on-ramp and template all of the commercial structures around that. So an easy way for artists and influencers to they don't have to think about the business model. They can just kind of come type in the numbers and see, okay, well, this is what I want this collection to look like. Let me just type in the numbers here instead of, having to do a bunch of business modeling and planning and stuff like that. The other thing is obviously when they build our collections, once we plug in all the information, all of the smart contracts and stuff like that are created. So it's not like you have to go and, get a team of devs and then get your launch site ready and do all that. VRYNT takes care of all of that for you. So it's really, the biggest thing I would say is VRYNT gets really, really involved with their influencers and brands to help them build a business around Web3. It's not just here, sell these NFTs out to the community, you're done. It's more like, look, let's again, it's about it's about fan engagement. So we want to create a real long-lasting business around engaging your fans via these, reprogrammable credentials or reprogrammable stores of benefit.
Crystal clear. I love it. Before we get to community questions here, any other comments about the all of that jazz whitelist? I know we covered it earlier. I want to jump into your staking program and token listing as well, but anything else about the whitelist?
Yeah, just just to redo it. There's for this community, there's 100 whitelist spots, and again, the first 100 people to retweet this space and then DM VRYNT your wallet will get you put on the whitelist.
Got it. So you guys have a staking program and you have a token listed on Mexi Global, who's an official partner of Whalecoin Talk. We like him.
Oh, cool.
We like him a lot over at Mexi. But to tell us a bit about your staking program and also tell us about the token. Why do you have a token and what are some utilities it provides with respect to the overall ecosystem?
Yep, perfect, and that's evolving over time. Yeah, so the first staking program we have basically is when you come into the platform, you can go into your profile and it says stake VRYNT, so you can go check it out there. But basically, the way it works is we have these slots. So there's like a $25 slot, a $50 slot, $100 slot, whatnot, and those slots have a certain number of stake slots open in it. But when you stake your VRYNT tokens for 60 days at that value, you get a free Origins card pack. So like right now, if you went to stake for $25, you get a VRYNT card pack. And I think the VRYNT card packs right now, the VRYNT Origins card packs are worth about $130 or selling for about $130 right now. Equivalent. So anyway, so it's a cool promo, but basically what we're using that staking program for is just to associate people with VRYNT and using the builder and stuff like that. So that was kind of the first staking program. But the VRYNT token is the way you cash out all your proceeds basically out of the system. So, if you were to buy a Jasmine component pack and build an NFT and sell it to somebody later, you would get VRYNT proceeds, and you can use those VRYNT proceeds on the platform to buy something else. But if you decide you want to cash that out, you can go through the cash out process or the claims process basically, and then we'll give you VRYNT tokens for that you can take to Mexi and sell. But the other thing that you'll see us launching is an entire suite of VRYNT staking programs for the rest of the utility of the VRYNT token, and that's really it's really designed all for platform improvement types things. So just to give you some examples of things that you'll see coming forward is, a referral program. So you can stake your VRYNT tokens, you get entered into the referral program, and then if people you refer come on and interact with the system, then you get rewarded for that. So it's not, when it says staking, it is definitely not staking like, oh, you get an APY for VRYNT. That is not what we're doing there. It's all designed towards stake your tokens. You're going to be, by staking, you're kind of earning this preferred status on the platform in order to engage with all our other rewards programs. So we'll be doing other cool stuff like, if you stake a certain amount, you can get in double blind rate or rank NFTs. And if you get inside what the bell-shaped curve of what the community ranked it at, then you get a certain reward, and if you're outside, you get less. So it'll be a fun thing, but we're still designing most of those programs.
And can we do a quick breakdown of the tokenomics and also the token distribution?
So we obviously are very, very careful at VRYNT. So we didn't do any public sale on the token or anything like that. There's 10 billion of them out there, and then obviously we have private sale investors that have purchased some, but basically the entire pool is there for the community to grow into, essentially. So there's no real advanced tokenomics on it. It's very much a vanilla token out there to facilitate the utility exchange on the platform.
Got it. Scott, is there anything that you wanted to highlight or cover that I might have missed? I know that we went through a lot. I want to start calling on community members, but let us know if there's anything that we might need to maybe go over again or anything that we didn't discuss.
Yeah, I think the big things is, I would love for you guys to go out there and play with the builder. If you go to VRYNT.io and scroll to the bottom, you can go to there's a demo section, and you can kind of play with some cool builders out there that we have for like NASCAR cars and helmet designers and merch design. It's fun. I mean, once you start playing with it, you'll get very addicted to it. If you want to play with Jasmine's collection early, you could go to VRYNT.io, allthatjazz.html, and there's a demo builder of her common components out there. So you can start playing with that to see what it's going to be like with her collection is so freaking cool. You're going to love it. And then just a reminder on the whitelist, again, it starts at 5 and the public sale starts at 9. So definitely show up.
Right on.
Hey,
Aisha,
Noah, sorry to butt in
Go
here
ahead,
for
man.
a second, but you mentioned the builder. I was playing around with it, and I was quite familiar with the project before. But you actually highlighted a few things that were new, and you guys, I know we're kind of all a little bit experienced here, but I wanted to keep it high level and just reiterate a few very important things that people might have missed. And we took it for granted, but we shouldn't, because these are tools that are built for influencers, for people that are out there, trying to push their brand, trying to create more exposure. So they're tools built by veterans in the space, people that are experienced, and they know how to do it. Because you mentioned everyone onboarding, they're going to get a non-custodial wallet. Well, look at what Reddit did. They did the same thing, and they onboarded a couple of million people. So that's a pretty strong move there. And then the way the NFTs are distributed with the components, you're not fighting over like the super rare NFT and all that. No, you're getting components, you get to engage, you get to create this sandbox economy around it, and then moving even further from that line, you get to even stake those. So aside from the fact that people might be, saving some and then building their own crazy stuff, they get some extra benefits on top of that. So there's a few cool features here that, like you said, we don't see a lot. And I do believe that the new wave of people coming into crypto and into DeFi, they're not going to care about the decentralization, custodial and all that. But they will want to engage. So if they discover that while, talking and engaging with their favorite influencer, they actually now have a wallet and they are DeFi users and they can take it further, and learn from their favorite influencer and from their favorite teams and all that. I think it builds out to a great future for all of us, and maybe those people will be a little more interested and will go back to learning, the fundamentals and everything. So it's a great foot in the door strategy. So I'm loving what I'm hearing, and I'll let you take it away. I'm not gonna take too much time here.
And I love how you came in with that fire, Acti. Beautiful. Always pleasure to hear your stream of thought. Let's go with Aisha and follow up with Captain Levi.
Thank you, Noah. I have a few questions. I can see on your Medium page that back in June you struck partnership with Surreal Metaverse, and first implementation was to leverage VRYNT NFTs as credentials into specific VIP areas of the metaverse. I want to know, do the VRYNT Origins NFT collection is giving access to VIP areas in the Surreal Metaverse, and to which VIP areas do NFT owners have access to in the metaverse?
Oh, thank you for that. It was super precise. I really appreciate it. Let me just describe that very quickly. So, Surreal is a company that creates metaverses for other companies. So they don't have a metaverse themselves. They create metaverses for other people. And funny enough, Jasmine's label is actually, that's who Jasmine's label is using to create metaverses for all of their artists. So they haven't announced anything yet, but you can imagine that VRYNT NFTs, like NFTs for all that jazz, would be access credentials for the metaverse that ultimately they will create. And we also have other partnerships I can't really announce, or so sorry, other projects that I can't really announce that are working with Surreal to build these metaverses that will use our credentials as well, but none of them are announced yet.
Understood. I was also wondering, are influencers, creators, and brands also be able to sell their merchandise and products on VRYNT e-commerce platform along with NFT collection?
We haven't. That's a great question. We haven't launched that opportunity yet for them. I think what you're saying is, along with the NFTs, could they launch an e-commerce based merch store or some other store with that? It is something that we have talked about, and there's some very exciting collections that are coming up that have to do with merch specifically, but they aren't exactly the way that you described it, like having a sidecar merch store with it. But it's a great idea, and I don't know why we haven't thought about that already. But yeah, so not yet, but I love the idea, and I'll talk to our product people about it right away because it's brilliant.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
No, it's a perfect question. Thanks.
Thanks, Aisha. Captain Levi, you are next.
Thanks, Noah. Okay, from the AMA so far, you just talked about well-known influencers, and as we all know, to be an influencer is literally not a day's job. They must have done quite a lot to get to where they are. Is there anything that wannabe influencers will have to keep in mind? And is there any way VRYNT can help him or her to get the much needed attention for the service or brand that whoever the influencer is working on?
Yeah, let me just restate what you're saying. I think that I think there's obviously you're talking about influencers in general. Some are very, very successful, like Jasmine, with millions of followers, and some are less successful, like with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers. And then I think what you were asking is there anything that VRYNT can do to help the ones that are less known to get more known? Is that correct?
Exactly. That's what I was trying to ask.
Got you. Thanks. I just wanted to make sure I understood. Yeah. So the interesting thing that we've done here is the first thing you have to think about is we've made the pricing of the collections, that so that the collection owner gets to decide all of that, because obviously somebody that's very, very well known may want to do something very expensive, where somebody is not well known can do something less expensive. So that was one of the most important things for us, to kind of decentralize that business model out to the artist so that they could do that. And then I think the next thing is kind of getting known and whatnot. And clearly, obviously, as VRYNT grows, as all of these collections start to come on and VRYNT grows, it will gain an audience of its own. And I think that, people that launch their collections on there will do that as well. But we also have some external marketing things that we do for all the collections that come on board with us to market them as well. So there's some benefits that come along with that as well. But I think the biggest thing is giving them the flexibility to, price these collections or right size them for their audience, essentially. But again, obviously everything comes down to, creating value in that collection. And most of that comes from, the hard work involved in, assigning that value and then reassigning it and reassigning that value. So it's always fresh, and, that there's, constant benefit getting assigned to those credentials.
Wow, well said. Okay, so my next question will be still concerning growth, but in another way. I think I just forgot my train of thought. Okay, I just remembered. How about a recommendation system? Because with time, variance is going to definitely become something big, and Jasmine is not going to be the only one in the space. Is there going to be some kind of recommendation system where someone could come in and then based on activity of users, Variant predicts that okay, we could actually would suggest you go here or would suggest you go here, and then will artists be able to now pay for ads on the Variant platform so that at least they can be advertised to people that are coming to look for this kind of things.
I understand. So the very first thing that we'll be implementing is, and one thing I think that OpenSea has done just a very good job with is all of their filter and sort widgets. I think that they've done that very well, and we'll be adding that there. And then the next level of recommendations or finding is exactly that, which would be featured collections that we've got to add. And then the cool thing is our team has a lot of knowledge on AI and whatnot. And, that's really where you start getting into the advanced things of users coming on and knowing kind of what they are interested in, and then surfacing other collections that they might be interested in that. We have not launched any programs to allow people to advertise on VRYNT yet. That's not to say that we won't, but we haven't done that. There's a lot of it's a funny thing because there's a lot of negative sentiment specifically in the crypto NFT space around paid advertising around NFTs and whatnot. Not so much in the non-crypto space, but anything like that where we're going to kind of step into something where we offend the crypto space. I mean, they're kind of the anchor of why all this is here in the first place. So we are very sensitive to that audience as well. But it's a great question, man. That was a good one.
All right. I really appreciate the detailed answers to the question. I just checked the demos. Jasmine, there are some really wonderful pieces here. I'm wishing you guys the very best, and I hope the project stays bullish moonward. Over to you, Noah.
Hey, thank you so much, Captain Levi. Great questions. Venice, you were next, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Noah. I have a couple of the questions for the team. So I want to understand that is it possible for community members to build their own VRYNT inside the social creators collection? I mean, if I'm also a small influencer with not following and I want my face or my artwork to be represented as an NFT inside any other popular social creators collection. So am I allowed to do this if I have a very rare component cards or any NFT?
That is a great question. So let me just restate it to make sure I've got it right. What you're saying is, as a consumer, an end user, can I put my own components or my own NFTs into Jasmine's collection as an example? Am I understanding you correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was asking.
Gotcha. And that isn't possible today. What we mean by that is, that when you buy Jasmine's component packs, as an example, when you open them, it will have components inside there that Jasmine created, basically. So they're all Jasmine related components. And what you get to do is structure and arrange those components. So you can decide to put a certain hair on her, or a certain body pose, or shoes, or socks, or different pair of pants. So there's fixed position components that go on there, but there's also components that you can drag around. You can spin them. You can put layers on them. So like you could tuck her phone in her jacket, for example. So, but you're constrained in that you can only use the components that came out of the collection. So the answer to your question is no, you wouldn't be able to upload your own custom components into the collection. You have to use components that Jasmine put out as part of her collection. What I will say though is we have discussed, and you will see other collections that come up that allow you to put your stuff into them. They still may be constrained. Like just as an example, you may imagine a collection that comes out for merch, but you're able to take an NFT that you've got related to that collection and add it to the sweatshirt or something like that. So we will be adding those features later. And it's a great idea because I think it just really more engages the community if I can put my own stuff in. But that's that feature set has not been implemented yet.
Okay, understood. And I also saw car decals demo builder, and there were components of Red Bull and McLaren. So are these only for demo purposes, or people can use copyrighted logos as components while building? And one
No,
more thing,
yeah, sure.
yeah, one more thing. One of the problem I see in most of the people who are super good with making designs on pen and paper, but they don't know how to convert their ideas into a digital form. So, do you have any plan to help those kind of people as well?
Yeah, that's really great. So let me first handle the demo builder with Red Bull and whatnot. Obviously, no. If any time that you're going to use a logo or like that where you're making money, it has to have that brand's approval. So those are only for demo purposes, obviously, and not for any commercial use whatsoever. But it was just a point to show on that demo that you can imagine that. Jasmine may have a certain brand of makeup that she likes, and she could potentially go do a collab with that brand around product placement in her collection, as an example. So that's what that was really trying to show. And then the second question you had was, can you remind me just again?
Yeah, I was saying that if someone is really good with pen and paper, but they don't know how to convert their ideas into digital form. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And we've actually had examples of that. So in that case where we find an artist that maybe does physical art and is really good with it, what we normally do is, so our creative director is a guy named Jacob Conrad, and he's a world-renowned, award-winning creative director. So he's done like light shows for the Olympics and stuff like that. I mean, he's really amazing. But he also has a very, very large network of creative people around the world. So normally what we will do is if we find somebody that's great that has illustrative capabilities or artistic capabilities in physical form, we'll pair them up with a digital artist that is of the same style as them. Like if it's anime or manga or something like that, we will pair them up with just the right digital artist, and then they go and collab on a project. But it's super insightful that you even bring that comment up. But yeah, that's how we're planning on handling it, is pairing them up with somebody that does it digitally well.
Okay, that was really great talking with you. Thank you so much for answering my question.
It was really good.
Thank you, Venice. And we got one more guest, Mr. Rahmat, and we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I've read on your white paper that all the component packs, NFTs, and other items can be purchased on your platform via these credits. So it got me thinking that why did you decide to have your own token, as only credits which are pegged to USD can be used to buy components pack and NFTs on your platform? And will you be accepting other cryptocurrencies as well? And final part is that will influencers also going to have the option of selecting the maybe cryptocurrency or fiat they want payments in?
Gotcha. Yeah, bunch of nested questions in there. So the primary reason for the credits, you can kind of think of it, just almost think of it like Roblox or Xbox or PlayStation. And most of the reason why those credit systems are built is really more around AML and CFT compliance. And I'm so sorry, AML is anti-money laundering and CFT is counter-financial terrorism. So there's a lot of stuff for, when you go and deal with big brands, folks like Nike you've seen coming out into the space and whatnot, they need a lot of protections in those systems for their accounting departments and legal departments and whatnot to even get involved. So most of those systems around credits were built into the infrastructure due to needing to deal with compliance issues around dealing with, big tier one brands globally, essentially. But then, we also needed a mechanism to provide utility in the platform and to provide cash out mechanisms and whatnot to make it easy. And that's where the VRYNT token comes into play. So that's on the outbound. On the inbound, you asked about being able to pay with credit cards. So that's another thing that's really, really important. When you build platforms in the cryptocurrency space, a lot of people don't talk about it a lot, but you actually, if you're just dealing with straight crypto or straight digital smart contracts and NFTs and whatnot, you wind up having a lot of issue with banks globally around the world, real banks. And, you have to do business, so you have to deal with them. And so those credit systems provide a mechanism for us to have compliance with them as well, and to deal with real credit card companies, like Stripe or whatever, to deal with credit card processing around the world. So a lot of that infrastructure that you talked about is dealt with that. But we also do take cryptocurrencies, so you can still buy into the system via cryptocurrencies, and that would come in via today we're using Coinbase Commerce to do that. So any token that Coinbase Commerce supports, you can buy anything on the platform with those as well. And that's stuff like USDT, ETH, Bitcoin, Doge is on there as well. But anyway, so that's basically how the entire system works there.
Understood. It makes sense. Thank you so much for answering. Over to you, Noah.
No problem. Great question. These are the most insightful questions that I've had on any AMA, I swear to God. It is super deep, and I love it. Thank you for it.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, and I think the audience members really crushed it. It kind of stole my thunder, especially Acti, but it was a pleasure having It was a pleasure having you guys. I typically stick to the basics, and then I let the audience members come in with the really critical questions. And obviously, Mr. Acti just comes in with the bolt of energy and really, I mean, I think that the demo is something everyone should go and play around with. I think that once they play around with it, audience members, provide some feedback via your socials and help you guys build out a more robust ecosystem. I think I love the fact that you guys put that out. But Scott, Jasmine, Jane, I really appreciate you guys coming on today. It's been a pleasure. I love seeing unique ecosystems being built in the industry, and I love seeing initiatives that are getting folks who otherwise might not interface with Web3 to come and do so. So hats off to you guys. Fantastic work. I know it's just a start, but I'm looking forward to watching you all grow. And if there's anything you want to say before you leave, go ahead and do so now before I close things out.
Okay, cool. I'll just, Jazz, do you want to say anything first, and then I'll make the closing comment?
Yes, thank you everybody for having me. I'm really excited. And I'm just excited to do my part for the NFT space and help to get most of my community, which is mostly on TikTok, over into the NFT space and see how much this can potentially help me engage with my audience and get to know all of you guys very deep, and get creative. So you guys are going to love it. I think everyone should go check out the builder, the demo, and thank you so much.
If you guys haven't gotten it, you should really go check out Jasmine's TikTok. Again, she's got like 7.2 million, 7.3 million followers now. But if you want an energy shot, go watch a few of her videos. She has got more energy than the sun. So it's just great. You should go do that. So
I love you, Scott. Always hyping me up.
It's true though. It's true. I don't tell any lies. No cap. All right. So whitelist opens in 4 hours. I think that's right, 4 hours. And then the public sale opens in, let's see, that's 4 hours, 8 hours. So don't miss it. Make sure you try to get in on the whitelist. That's going to be big with so many followers. It ought to go really, really well. So we're super excited. And thanks you guys for joining and listening to us.
All of the details for the whitelist are in the pinned tweet on VRYNT's account. You should go check it out.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. My name is Noah from Whale Coin Talk, signing out. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.